Hello, did you watch that game? My goodness, that was down to the last second. Do I have? Oh, I do. I have kale in my teeth. Gone. Gone, girl. Yep. Got 2 Gone Girls right here with your names on them because you ordered them today. Thank you very much. What? Was that this one? And that was that other one. Okay, I'm gonna move that. I'm gonna move that one to the trash. Move to the trash. Move it to the trash. We couldn't move this trash to town. Well, whatever. Hi. You ordered them today. Things to the trash. We couldn't move this trash. Who's here? William D. Lindemann. Hopefully the rest of the people. William D. is here and 2 others. Hello, 2 others. My name is Jenna. This is 11:11 with Jenna. I'm here 7 days, 7 nights, 14 times a week, right here on Facebook. If you're watching it live, thank you very much. If you're watching it later, thank you very much. And if you're watching it on YouTube, Mama Grace, wasn't that exciting, Mom? That was fun. That was really fun. If you're watching it on YouTube, thank you, William D, for getting it onto YouTube, and thank you. So all the way around, like it, wow, share it, subscribe, do all that stuff. I still love this soap. I don't think I'm ever going to use it though. Oh, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good. So whoever the other 2 people are, Mama Grace and William D, and 2 new people, I need to, where's my lip up stuff? Hey, Carl. Carl Hess in the house. Carl in the house. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Where's my lip up? Very strange. Very, very strange. It's interesting. They spell it Carl, C-A-R-L. It's K. Don't they know? There she is. This is my, Blanche was here the other night. And she gave me, she said, this would make it pop. So I'm making it pop. Pop, 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 she says. Wow. I mean, I said, I between Green Bay and the Niners, of course I want the Niners to win, right? But I thought, well, I guess I'm going to miss the overtime. Not last second. Sorry if you're recording the game and you haven't watched it yet. Sorry. And we watched a nice movie tonight. Landline, I think it was called. Wait, I'll tell you exactly what it was called. Landline. It was called Landline, and it was Edie Falco was great, and it was New York, and it was like super cool. But now, speaking of New York, ladies and gentlemen, one more Saturday night with Jerry Lambert. Hello. Oh, you have on my favorite flannel. I love that flannel. I can't hear you.
Unmuted. Now I'm unmuted. Now you can hear me.
Yeah, what happened to me earlier though? I froze and it was all
Yeah,
freaky.
you did. I could hear the audio, but the image was frozen. You know, it's just technology, just reminding us that we're not the boss.
It's true. Last night my camera didn't work. It just so that it went back to it. Went back to the regular camera on my laptop, and it made everything bigger and weird. And yeah, it was weird.
So I saw about the last 13 seconds of the Niners
Oh
game.
my goodness.
Which is pretty much the limit of my attention span for football anyway, so it was perfect. That was nice. That was fun. I mean, I don't care, but it was fun.
That's like a perfect time to walk in. You're like, oh, it's tied, so it'll probably go into overtime.
Yeah.
What?
It's funny. I got a text from our friend Harry Duncan, who was saying, "Oh my God, the idiots are going to descend upon North Beach now. He won't get a minute's peace
Where is
because
he?
he's on Union Street up the hill
Oh,
from.
it's going to be nutty.
Oh yeah, no, he really hates living in North Beach when big sports events happen because it's just yeah. But North Beach is, if you're going to live anywhere, North Beach ain't bad.
Not a bad place to be. How are you, Mr. Lambert?
I'm fine. I'm just I'm getting my tea together here, and
I haven't done that yet.
yeah, and yeah, I'm fine. I've had a nice day culturally, and gastronomically, and
Ooh, do tell. Well,
well,
culturally, we'll
yeah,
start with culture.
culturally, I went down a little Stephen Sondheim rabbit hole. Um, I watched this documentary called "The Best Worst Thing That Could Ever Happen."
Can you
And
hold on once? Oh, that never mind. I'm getting a message. I'm getting a phone call from Brazil, but then they hung up.
okay, I'm sorry, Brazil. Hey, Mama Grace. Mama Grace says, "Hey, Gary." Gary says, "Back." Hey, back, Mama Grace.
Start over. You went down a Stephen Sondheim. I was in the ceiling making a hole today, so you were in a rabbit hole of Stephen Sondheim. Tell us.
Yeah,
Tell us.
well, I was sort of just sort of surfing around Netflix, and I remembered that I had saved among my items to watch this documentary, which is called "The Best Worst Thing That Could Ever Happen," and it is the story of one of the real failures in Stephen Sondheim's career, a musical called "Merrily We Roll Along," which was like, would seem to be a can't miss proposition. Sondheim, music and lyrics. The same guy who wrote the book for Company, George Firth, wrote the book, and Hal Prince was directing. And it died after 16 performances, but has taken on this kind of mystical cult.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the show was apparently a mess, like on stage, dramatically, coherently, storytelling, but the songs have become beloved. And there have been like off-Broadway revivals and like many productions around the country. It's never been back to Broadway. But it's a fascinating story. And what they did, they hired a really entirely unknown cast, because the premise of this musical was it was going to go backwards in time. You had these like older, successful but unhappy and bitter people, and then the musical was supposed to go back in time to the idealism of their youth. But they hired very young actors, and they were going to have the young actors play themselves as older people too. And it was very confusing for the audience that the story was moving backwards, but these young people were being old people, and they weren't made up as old people. They were just like, sort of acting stodgy and bitter. And so audiences were like walking out during the preview performances. So this musical has kind of taken on this cult status, but everyone knew it was a failure. But when it was being made, when it was being prepared, because this was the follow-up to Sweeney Todd, this was the next thing.
Okay, so this was
81.
early. Okay.
1981. Well, not I mean, Sondheim's career began in the 50s, so he was already like a total icon on Broadway. He had already done Company and he's done a lot of really.
This was a failure for him.
This was a major failure for him, and he was very bitter about it. He at first he swore he was never going to do another musical again. Of course, he did many more after that. But what happened was I don't think he and Harold Prince ever worked together again. They had been this incredibly successful combination. So it had this major impact on his career and his self-confidence. And it took a while for his reputation to recover from this, because it was such a major failure. But and so all the actors were unknown. And many of them never worked on Broadway again. It was like they were all, I think some of them were so traumatized by the experience others like went into like some had like modest careers, they were like, they worked in the chorus or they were like, second, not stars, except Jason Alexander, who went on to Seinfeld,
Oh my goodness.
and Giancarlo Esposito, who went on to Do the Right Thing and Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, one of my favorite actors, absolutely. So a couple of other people, whose names you might know now. But other than that, these people, if they didn't totally vanish, they did not make acting their primary career. The guy who was the lead, the young lead, thought this was going to be his big break as an actor. He wound up becoming a very successful Broadway director. So his story was kind of happy. But anyway, it was thought this show was kind
Alexander's didn't turn out too shabby either.
No. Yeah. But and he's in the documentary. Jason Alexander is, he had just changed his name to Jason Alexander from Jay Greenspan from Livingston, New Jersey. And he just thought this was going to be it, and it wasn't. And then he struggled for a lot of years before he got Seinfeld. But the interesting thing is, when the musical was being prepared, they thought, a new Stephen Sondheim, Hal Prince show. The media coverage was very intense, and ABC News was going to do a special on it. So they were filming the auditions and the rehearsals and all the stuff leading up to the show. And then when the show bombed, of course, the ABC special got shelved, and it was thought that all the prints had been destroyed. So the director, Lonnie Price, said, well, I'd like to just make a documentary about the making of this musical. And of course, we don't have the old footage, but I'll talk to the actors today, and I'll see if Sondheim will talk to me, and I'll see if Hal Prince. And then they discovered like safety copies of all that footage. So you see the young Jason Alexander with hair, and you see like all these other actors, and they're all really just kids. And you see Sondheim a lot younger and Hal Prince a lot younger, and all this optimism that was going into the production, and then just how crestfallen everyone was. But it's a fantastic documentary, really fascinating, and how all these people's life priorities changed. And
where is it located?
It's on Netflix.
Oh, and it's called?
It's called The Best Worst Thing That Could Ever Happen. Which I think is from a lyric in a song from the show.
Wow.
Oh, and then this is interesting. There have been a couple of small revivals of it. There's now a movie being made of it, but this is a really amazing and bold thing. Richard Linklater, the movie Boyhood that he made over 12 years, so that the actors actually aged. It was with not Rosanna Arquette, the Rosanna Arquette's sister, Patricia Arquette, and the kid in the lead role was like 8 years old when they started making the movie, and then they took a few years off, and they filmed him. They filmed every couple of years for 12 years. So you saw this kid grow, and the woman playing his sister grow. So Linklater is doing this musical that way. Only he says he's going to take 20 years.
For real?
He's going to film every 2 years for 20 years. So you actually see the young actors that he has cast. So get ready to see this in 2042. Presumably, one hopes everyone lives long enough.
He does it in 20 years, but then who knows how long it'll take him to edit it? So it could be
right. Well, he'll be editing as he goes along. I think he'll be shaping up the earlier scenes. So that's insane.
How cool is that?
So if I live to be 91, I'll see you there.
Gary, I have a feeling.
Yeah, my genes kind of
I think
are in favor.
Hanging around.
Mm-hmm.
Hanging around. See, I didn't get my tea together because I was downstairs watching the game. I'm going, well, I guess I'm going to miss the overtime.
Yeah. It looked, yeah. I mean, well, they were down 10-3 until there was just a little time left, right? And then they tied it, and then they got the ball back, and that was pretty cool.
You could have walked in 3 minutes early and saw it all happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, and then I was on a Sondheim roll, so I watched the the documentaries, D.A. Pennebaker's great documentary about the making of the original cast album of Company. Have you ever seen that documentary?
No.
It's great. It's really great. It's it's shot right in the recording studio.
Oh, the music.
The music is incredible. And you see like the orchestrator and everybody, and Sondheim like talking to the actors about the way they're delivering the songs, and he was very precise in what he wanted, and some of the actors like freaking out a little. Well, I won't tell you about the climax of this film, but that's also incredibly worth seeing. It's just called Original Cast Album Company.
Well, Monday night we're starting, and thank you for your recommendation this morning on Halt. Was it Halt?
No, Mank.
Mank. Halt
Yeah.
on Mank.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Mank was especially a sore point for me because I loved the idea of this movie. What it's about, that Mank was Herman Mankiewicz, who was a great movie screenwriter and producer in the 1930s and 40s. And he co-wrote Citizen Kane with Orson Welles. And he was a very complicated man who had, and there's this whole mythology about Citizen Kane, and some people say that Herman Mankiewicz was like holed up in a bungalow in Palm Springs and wrote the whole thing himself, and that Orson Welles like took the credit from him. But that's been largely debunked. But the movie buys into that, so they just sort of they sell that version of the myth. But there's just something wrong. Even if they were buying that side of the myth and they told the story better, I think it would have been fine. But it winds up focusing on Herman Mankiewicz, just this kind of sad drunk, and he was much more than that, and a lot of movies do that. A lot of movies, like Clint Eastwood's movie about Charlie Parker was like the sad junkie movie instead of the incredible genius movie. So there's what you don't get from this movie is you don't get any of the excitement of Citizen Kane being created, this revolutionary film. So, what's the point if you're just going to dwell on the sad drunk? So that's, that's what I didn't like. That's what I didn't like about the movie, among other things.
But Monday night, hi April, Monday night movie club starts this Monday.
Right. So as of Monday, you're going to launch it. And do you think it's going to be The Laundromat? Is that the one you're going to go for?
I don't know. Oh. Everyone's going to bring a movie or two, just like you bring to a book club. You're going to bring a movie, and it's something that's on Netflix.
Right. I saw that. Yeah. I was wondering if there were ways around that for other people. I think the problem would be if you only pick movies that are exclusively on Netflix, because then there are also the movies that have been generally released and Netflix has, but you can also like rent them for $2.99 on Apple or whatever, or on.
But a lot of people don't have other stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would think a lot. The thing is, you don't have to be on a streaming service. You can just go to, iTunes.com or whatever Apple is calling that now, and rent the movie for 48 hours for for $2.99 or $5.99 or whatever.
That's true.
So if people don't have Netflix, they can go that way. If they're interesting movies that aren't exclusively on Netflix, people can go that way. That's all I'm saying.
We're all open to whatever. I like that idea too. I thought of Netflix only because some people, if they don't have it, then there are other people here that could invite them to be one of their, people that shares it.
Oh, right, right.
And then, but I like your idea too. New 4K version on Criterion is amazing.
Of what?
New 4K version on Criteria is amazing.
Of what?
Of a particular, what, Lauren? Lauren's in Rancho Mirage. She's moving from the Bay Area to Louisiana. Hello, Patty Loman. Patty Loman's here. I made some really good cornbread today, and I'm looking forward to your cornbread. I know why I don't normally make cornbread. Like People are like, wow, it's so good. Why don't you make it more often? You want to know why I don't make it more often, Gary?
I do not know. No.
Because I'll eat most of it.
Oh, I love cornbread.
Hello, Anne. Oh, wow. Oh, Citizen Kane. Oh, there's a new Citizen.
Oh, it's a new 4K Citizen Kane. Well, I have watched Citizen Kane in so many formats, and if there's a great 4K on Criterion, I will watch that one too, because that movie never gets old for me.
I took a film class my freshman year in college,
Mhm.
and we, spent a month just on Citizen Kane.
Yeah, you can spend a lifetime on Citizen Kane as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
So I would like to get Criterion. That's one that
Criterion is great. I mean, they, in addition to having the Criterion channel for streaming, they also make these incredible, beautifully curated box. They'll put out a movie, on Blu-ray, for example, that has just the most amazingly restored images, and they also have a lot of bonus stuff, like little mini documentaries about the making of whatever film you're watching, interviews with the directors. I like to dive deep into that stuff. So sometimes if it's a movie that I treasure enough, I'll, rather than stream it, I'll buy the Blu-ray.
Oh, that's what William does too.
Yeah.
How many Blu-rays do you think you own?
I got into Blu-ray is a fairly recent technology, and I already had so many DVDs that I only buy Blu-rays for like things I think are really special. And since I've had Blu-ray, I've bought most of my newer ones in Blu-ray as well when available, but I don't often duplicate ones I had on DVD on Blu-ray. But sometimes I will, because they're better.
Yeah, yeah. You really you see it, you feel it.
You see it, you feel like you almost feel pulled into the movie, like physically, and the sound is always better. It's and now most people are streaming, so even like DVD is almost an obsolete technology, and Blu-ray is like, because it's so high quality, it's kind of hanging in there, I guess.
So you've had this day of culture, but it included some food.
Well, I decided to keep. I stayed in the same concept as last week. I had the second of the three Lou Malnati deep dish. This was the spinach one. Excellent.
That's a good one.
And even though I have to bite my lip a little when I say the word pizza when describing that kind of Chicago casserole, it's delicious no matter what you call it.
So you had that with?
I just made myself a simple greens and tomato salad with a little olive oil, balsamic. Needed nothing else.
And that was so. When did you have the second one?
Well, that was there were
three of them, no?
This was the second one. The third one is in the freezer.
Oh.
I could wait till next Saturday night. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But yeah. So this was the second of three. The pepperoni one is still in the freezer.
So here's a question for you. Hey Gary, do you think it's worth it to purchase on Amazon Movies instead of accumulating DVDs and Blu-rays so you have a library on Amazon Prime?
I kind of like the idea of getting as many. I don't own that many streaming movies, because I generally, if I want to own a movie, I'll generally get the Blu-ray. But it's fine. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to having that availability to be able to purchase a movie for download and own it permanently and have it in the cloud anytime you want to watch it is very cool.
Criterion is a channel on Amazon Prime. Does that mean because I have Prime, I have Criterion?
No, Criterion is a separate streaming channel, but I think there's like a Criterion part of Amazon Prime that maybe you have to pay extra for. I'm not sure. Amazon's been doing that. They've been incorporating, like they incorporated a Showtime channel, and you can get content from these other services that are not owned by Amazon, but they have they have like some arrangements with them. I don't know all the specifics of that.
Nothing. Any other food moments this week?
That was pretty simple. I had a burger last night. I love me a burger. And other than that, it's been just fairly run of the mill, but good.
Okay, you have to pay an extra $7 a month for Criterion on Amazon. So if you go through Amazon and pay the Criterion, then I have Criterion channel.
I don't think they have the full library of Criterion. I think that it's like a curated selection. That's my guess, anyway. I think that's the way some of these things work, but I'm not sure. I'd have to do the research there.
I'm still figuring out my phone doesn't do that. Is it called casting or mirroring or something?
Oh, you mean where you can beam it to your TV?
Yeah.
Well, your phone probably does it. Maybe your TV doesn't do it. I mean, it's a standard part of an iPhone.
Yeah, my phone does it. Oh,
yeah.
Can we do a little dance real quick?
Sure.
Oakland.
Hi, Melanie. Hello.
Yeah, see, I don't understand all this technology. Yes, I have it on my phone. I have Apple TV on my phone.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the screen mirroring is it depends on if your TV is equipped to do that, or if you have a box like Apple TV or Roku or one of those things. Yeah. Or what's the Chromebook or what Chrome something? Yeah. Chromecast, I think they call it. Yeah.
I've never had a TV. I've never owned a TV as an adult. The only time I ever had a TV was when my parents were out visiting me in California once, and I had like 3 plates and some chopsticks. And it was Sunday morning, and my dad wanted to watch football. So my brother picked him up, and they were gone for like 6-8 hours. They came back, not only with a TV, but they had gone to see the Raiders play.
Yeah.
So and then I had a TV for about 3 years, and then I gave it to Troy or something. But now I have a TV with Grace, but I don't know all the ins and outs of all the stuff.
Yeah, well, I love having the Apple TV box because, you have
the actual box. You purchase the box.
Yeah. Because what it does is you can stream YouTube directly on it rather than on your computer. You can stream Netflix directly on it instead of on your computer.
Oh my goodness. I can get YouTube on I don't know what happened, kids. Oh, I stepped on this. Imagine. I can get YouTube on the TV.
Well, if you can get YouTube, then you should be able to get those other things too.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there are these things. There are TVs that have some of that stuff built in. Smart TVs, they call them.
Right.
But then the trouble with that is, from what I've understood, is the TV companies don't always like upgrade the app fast enough, and you can get glitches and stuff. But having Apple TV has been great.
And that's its own little thing, right?
Own little box, and then HDMI cable from that into your TV, and then it becomes like sort of the hub of all of your streaming operations.
Okay, your next group should be called Jenna and the Luddites. Oh, dude, you have no idea. I'm a paper and vinyl kind of gal. I have cassettes. I have a car with a cassette player in it.
My car still has a cassette player in it.
All right.
But that ain't going to be for long. That car. Yeah.
Are you going to get a new car?
I'll probably get a used car, but this car is like has done its service. It's
What
done
do you
its time in
have?
the
I'm
world.
going to make some tea. What do you have?
Well, what I'm driving is what was my dad's last car,
Okay.
which is a Dodge Intrepid, which is going to be it's like 28 years old.
All righty. And I bet the cassette player is in perfect condition. Does it have
It
a
probably
CD
is.
player also?
No, it doesn't. It was like pre-CD players in cars.
Yes,
I never used the cassette player. Except I have one of those things that you plug into the cassette player so you can hook it up to a CD player or
Right.
whatever, or to my phone to amplify it or whatever. But yeah, I think a new car or a used car or something will be in my fairly near future, because the old wagon is winding down, but it's been great.
How
I
many
really do. Well, it's interesting. My dad only got it like right around the time he retired, and he drove very little after that. So by the time it landed in my lap, it probably only had like 13,000 miles on it or something. And I put a lot. I'm now, I must be around 150,000 now or something like that. You know, but
That's what I have on mine.
Yeah, I mean, a lot less. There's a lot less on it than an almost 30-year-old car would have had in other hands if it hadn't been
Sure.
my dad's car at the time, because he drove it very locally.
How fun.
Yeah.
So what else is shaking?
What else is shaking?
Are you go ahead.
I've got some work coming in from the folks at Rhino. So I'll be on some deadlines for the next few weeks, which will be fun.
And what about tomorrow? Anybody exciting?
Yeah, we're having Big Steve Parrish on.
Oh.
Always fun. Always fun. Yeah, he just celebrated the 5th anniversary of his show on Sirius XM, and we just celebrated the 14th of ours. So
really
14 years doing this thing. Yeah.
And we're coming up on 2 here.
That's right.
March 24th, big party.
We're coming up on the festive 2nd anniversary of the whole damn pandemic, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, March 11th. Well, I flew on March 11th.
Yeah.
From Mexico. And that was the day that they closed everything up at the airport, but I slipped in right before.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, William says most new TVs have Roku built in. I was not entirely aware of that, but
yeah, they have Roku, and then there's another one. I was going to be. Do you know Greg Martens? Have you ever met him?
I don't think I've ever met him. I know of him. Yeah.
Okay, he's a dear friend, family friend, really close friend of Nino's, and he was part of this other TV station, online TV station that was going to be like their button was going to be on a particular line of TVs. Mm-hmm. Samsung or something was going to be the button, like Roku, or I have it written in my book, Rich, but I don't know if that ever happened or not. I need to reach out to him. Good guy. I love him. I'm reading Keith Richards' book.
Oh, good. It's a fun book.
It's really fun.
It really is. He's just an entertaining guy. What can you say?
Do you have any, have you ever hung out with him?
No, I've never met Keith. I met Charlie once. He's the only Stone, and I was in very close proximity to Mick. I don't know if I ever told you this story, but when was it? Must have been late around 1990 maybe. Mick, it was one of those periods where Mick and Keith weren't talking to each other. So Mick was going to do a solo tour of, I think, Australia and maybe parts of Asia. And Bill Graham was going to be the tour promoter.
Oh, wow.
So one day Bill Graham just says, all right, I can't remember if they loaded us into buses or if everyone got there on their own power. It's a little vague, but he invited the entire company to Skywalker Ranch, where Mick Jagger on one of the sound stages was having a dress rehearsal for his tour. And we were all on the floor around the performance area. So no person was more than 2 deep. You were like, and Mick, of course, like works the crowd, so he was, it was pretty great. And he had, of course, a tremendous band. I can't even remember who was in it, but I remember it was Doug Wimbish on bass. Just really heavy, mostly New York guys. So that was pretty fun. That's the closest I've ever been to her. And I met Charlie, which was delightful.
You meet Charlie at the Fillmore when he played?
No, he didn't play the film. Well, maybe he played the Fillmore in some other configuration, but he played
with his big band.
That wasn't the Fillmore. That was the one of those places south of Market.
It was at the Fillmore.
Well, that must have been after I moved back here or something.
It was at the Fillmore because I opened for him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's the whole other show. No, the first time he played with his big band was at one of those places south of Market. That's like a big exhibition of the Design Center or one of those.
Yeah.
There's another one, the name of which I can't remember.
But it's where the Exotic Erotic used to be.
The Galleria. That was the
Galleria.
And it was a ridiculously big band. It was like 35 pieces, which is more than a big band needs, because it's like a lot of people doubling parts. But it was really fun, and I got taken back. I worked on the promotion of the show, so went backstage and had a moment with Charlie, and he was the most of all rock gods. There was no one more self-deprecating or not not infatuated with being famous or I don't know. There was a documentary when the Stones first toured America. There was a little documentary made about them, and there are interviews with Charlie where he's like talking about, maybe I should have stayed in architecture school. I don't know. He really didn't care for being a rock star, it seemed. He talks about, people talk about us like we're so great. It's not like I'm bloody Shostakovich or anything. So I go backstage and I said, Charlie, it really meant a lot to me to hear this music you were playing, because I grew up with Benny Goodman records in our house, and and other big band records. And I said, when I was like 9 or 10, maybe 10 years old, I saw Benny Goodman, a later edition of Benny Goodman's band, play live. It was one of my first really great live music experiences. And so I was hearing a lot of those tunes played by Benny Goodman. Charlie said, "Oh, I'll bet they played them a lot better than we did," which was just lovely. It was true. It was probably true, but it was so sweet,
He's sweet. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I have a question for you. What are you doing next Saturday night?
I get so many offers, I mean,
you are Mr. Popular.
They just won't leave me alone, but I have to tell them, please make other plans, because I will be on 11/11 with Jenna. And I'm sure you have talked with friends who were in Mexico? I have, and they all got out okay. I mean, I did hear of a couple of isolation cases.
Really? They had to be quarantined at the
hotel. Yeah, but I think everybody's home now, and it seems that it worked out as well as it possibly could. Interestingly, Wilco just had their festival in Mexico, just an hour down the beach, and it seems to have gone very smoothly. So, it would be funny if all the worry about the Dead & Co thing was, maybe overstated, but probably not.
Well, I thought what was interesting is obviously we were talking about, I had friends down there who made limonade, limonada. What's his name? Bob Saget.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that he and John Mayer were that close.
Yeah. It's, I did not know that until Bob died. And then I've been watching all this,
So that was really, I mean, John was available to, he went and picked up his car.
Did you see that video? That video was amazing. Him and
Yeah.
Jeff Ross driving the car back from LAX. Yeah, that it was so, I mean, it was beautiful because they were crying one minute and then telling Saget jokes the next and laughing. And yeah, that was a lovely thing that he
And
said.
I was thinking, was that the same time that John would have been down in Mexico?
Yeah, it would have been around the second week. Yeah. I think he had probably just gotten out of his own quarantine after testing positive. Yeah.
He tested positive. And then the second week was when, hi, Linda. Wow. Hello there. So then so he was able to be there to help.
Yeah. Yeah. And, he was really close to Bob's wife. So that was that was a little karmic reparation they made.
Right time in the divine time.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure. Do you have anything that you're looking forward to?
I have lots of things I'm looking forward to.
Our friends are playing. Are you thinking about going out and seeing Steven play or anything?
Taking it on a case-by-case basis. It depends on the venue. It depends on whether it's more than 13 degrees outside. Depends on how I'm feeling. I'm gonna be very try to show restraint. I got to watch Steven the other night, the streaming thing they did from the virtual New York Winter Jazz Fest, and that was great.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of that, but I read.
It's still streaming.
Is it?
If you go to the Winter Jazz Fest YouTube page or to their website, they still have it archived for streaming.
I have to look it up because they put that together like fast.
Yeah, because they canceled it. I think they announced it was canceled a couple of weeks before, and then they had people, just everyone played in their own. They musicians found either a club without people in it that they could play in, or a studio, or wherever. So yeah, it was lovely. I'm really glad I got to see that.
Yeah. So case by case.
Yeah, if something looks like it wouldn't be too high a risk, but I'm definitely being very careful right in here.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to hear that.
Plus, it's freezing out there. And,
Oh, today it was so cold. It wasn't even that cold here, but it was cold. Well, we had a water leak, so I was cutting a hole in the. Mitch did it. We did it last night, and today we made the hole bigger and access for the. And then we cleaned it all out and sprayed it with all this stuff, and we did all this stuff that the plumber would have charged us a lot of money for, and now he'll just charge us a little lot of money.
Right. There's always at least a little lot of money where there's a plumber involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think here, I'm not sure if it got out of the 20s here today. I can check, but it's.
And what is the temperature here?
It's 26 now. That's like
it's 27 degrees outside.
Yeah.
But it feels like 7.
Yeah, that's the old wind chill is really what gets you. And what I realize is I think I resent cold without snow more than I resent snow. The snow's pretty. The snow's pretty, and it kind of cuts the bitterness of
Yeah.
It softens everything up somehow.
But when it's just cold, you're like,
well, it's just cold. I said, this is just annoying. It's not aesthetically pleasing, where snow can be just gorgeous.
Yeah. The snows, it quiets everything too.
Yeah, that's true. And it makes the city quieter. We've talked about this before. I want at least one good storm that just stops the city in its tracks, at least every winter,
That's a fun thing. We kind of had that last week, I guess, here a little bit, but the other thing, it makes it quiet, but it creates these other sounds that Lillian hears that she's like, what was that, Mom? That's like the freeway is closed. Yeah. So semis are driving on this main street. Right. So they make this other loud, weird sound in the middle of the night. And
right. And then there's also like snow sliding off the roof and making some big boom. It's definitely different.
Yeah. Well, maybe next week it'll be where the Moroccos are. Was 50 degrees today, Fahrenheit.
I saw it the last week when we were talking, when it was 12 here, they were in the 40s, I think. Yeah. So
Wacky.
world is wacky.
The world is wacky. Well, I'm super, super, super psyched to see you again and catch up. And
Always.
next Friday, maybe Saturday, you'll have the other pizza.
It could be, or if I have the impulse control. If not, I may eat it before.
Do you have any other Gold Belly food in the freezer, or
No, not right now.
you have another coupon? You have another certificate? Did you say?
No, I don't have another certificate at this point.
I just
they have some really good sales, so if I get an urge for something, I could maybe act on it. I did, as long as we're talking about upcoming events, I did decide, no matter what the status of it is, I'm not going to do Jazz Fest this year.
You're not.
I have Wilco's Solid Sound Festival in May, which would be very shortly after Jazz Fest. And I just think, I looked at the lineup and there's some people I like. The headliners don't thrill me, there's always great people there. And of course, there's always great stuff around the town. But I think maybe my next trip to New Orleans, I'd like to be on at a non-Jazz Fest time.
October. October's best.
Yeah. Just go see the local scene and local food. And I don't need anything else. But I don't need to go to New Orleans to see the Who or the Foo Fighters.
It's not the greatest lineup. It's a great lineup. And when you read, Elvis Costello is there. You read down and go, oh, there's Devon and all these people that I know. If I get the gig, obviously at the International House, I'll go. But as I've gotten older, and this would be my 26th or 7th festival.
Wow.
Through the years, I've been able to go, I'm not going to go out there today. And it's kind of this mature where you go, I'm in New Orleans, but I'm not going to go to Jazz Fest today. Where, for 20 years, I went every, I never missed a day.
Right. And of course, when last time around, my friends were playing everywhere. You were playing and Will was playing and Medeski was playing. So, it wasn't like I would
That's its own festival.
Yeah, I wouldn't be in the slightest bit, and Joe Russo was playing, so it was like I wouldn't be in the slightest bit hurting if I completely blew off the fairgrounds and just went to the local stuff. Yeah.
And save $100.
Right.
$100.
I mean, Jazz Fest dollar for dollar is one of the most incredible bargains there is. I mean, just the insane volume of music you get for that amount of money, but still. Oh, Jeff Metzger, what have you missed?
Everything, Jeff. Hi, Eileen.
He probably knows the Niners won. You haven't missed anything earth shaking.
You missed us. You missed us. Eric and Jenna.
Right. Well, I only saw a little bit of you and Jeff this morning, so
Yeah.
It was nice to pop in.
I love that you guys pop in on each other. No pop in, but on 11/11, a pop in is allowed.
Right.
And encouraged. Highly encouraged to have a pop in. Yep, he did watch the Niners.
Yes.
That was a pretty incredible game. I mean, even Grace was like, I don't know.
I'll tell Jeff what I told you. Jeff, I watched the last 13 seconds, which was just perfect. I literally tuned in when there were 13 seconds left and saw pretty much all I needed to know.
You got it.
Yep.
Well, we're going to do one more.
11 Jenna. 11 Jenna. 11 Jenna. 11 who you gonna call right now? 11 Jenna with Jenna. 11 Jenna right now. 11 Jenna with Jenna. It's 11 who you gonna call right now?
I'm happy for the Niners that they won.
Yeah,
You know.
I don't have any really strong football allegiances, but yeah.
I'm now a Hawks fan. I'm a Seattle Hawks fan.
Okay.
Ooh, ooh. just by, because of Dave Love and Jeff Metzger. They kind of, they invited me into the fold.
Yeah.
And I happily accepted. And now I have a t-shirt.
Okay.
I need to get, we need to get the 11 with Jenna t-shirts are on their way, kids.
Oh,
They're
good.
on their way. Go Niners. Good job, Michael Keel. I'm happy for you. Speaking of, tomorrow morning, AJ will be here tomorrow night. Poetry Glam. If you ever feel like being on Poetry Glam, Gary Lambert, I would love to hear you recite a poem or two.
All right. Well,
I know.
I'll have to think about that. I'd really want to pick just the right one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Monday morning, we would do some movement, and Monday night is Monday Movie Club on 11/11 with Jenna. So
The inaugural Monday
yeah,
Movie Club.
I'm excited. I'll have to get a tape so we can cut the ribbon.
Right.
Get a big scissor.
Is that on the 11:11 a.m. or p.m.?
PM.
Okay. Okay. I may have to tune in just to find out.
Please
what the
tune
movie-
in. Jump
the movie
on and we'll
club will
all. Yeah, it'll be fun to figure out. Laundromat would be interesting. I'm open to that, but I know that everyone's going to come with different ideas. So
Yeah.
Anyway, well, thank you. I'm
Thank you
gonna
as always.
go outside and walk Lillian.
Oh boy. Well, dress for the occasion.
I do. I have two doors, front door and a back door that, depending on where we are at the time, and I have a coat hung here and a coat hung there and boots and hat and boots and everything is ready to roll. So I'll be listening tomorrow. Check out the show with Steve. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I think we're going to have them on right at the top of the show, 4 p.m.
No
Or
Mank.
No, I mean,
No Mank.
I would not tell people absolutely don't see Mank under any circumstances. It's worth watching. There's talent involved. It's just talent, I think, a bit misplaced. And
well, that's what Jeff missed. Jeff missed what you watched today. Maybe you can go over the highlight of.
Oh, right. I watched this wonderful documentary about a famous theatrical failure written by Stephen Sondheim, directed by Hal Prince. It was supposed to be a Surefire musical that failed and has become sort of a cult item years later, called Merrily We Roll Along. And the film is called Best Worst Thing That Could Ever Happen.
And
it's on Netflix. Was there something else I could have told Jeff that he didn't catch up with?
That you had your Lou Malnati's pizza today.
I had my second Lou Malnati's pizza out of 3. The third awaits in the freezer. And yeah, I guess that pretty much covers all the really heavy bullet points.
Oh, Melanie loves Charlie.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that film, Melanie? It's really the documentary about it. It's really, really good.
I can't wait. We're gonna go watch that now, Gracie.
Oh, great. Wonderful.
That's after we go outside. Do you have a letter for me?
R. You can just sing some pirate songs,
Their favorite kind of movie, right? Rated R. Best thing that could have ever happened. Good to know. We're on it. Thanks for the recap. I'll see you later, Melanie. Oh my goodness, Melanie. Melanie DeMore, full of love, and I love you. I love you too. And for every one of you, movie night on Monday night. But for now, we go with I'll say our will be so fun. I say stay safe, stay healthy, and be healthy, and always be real nice. From those R's, make those thoughts so real. From the words, make them rambunctious from your heart. Your heart, oh, your heart, merrily let it roll, let it tumble, let it go, go, go. I gotta go, and thank you, Gary Lambert, for the show. I'll see you all the next time, and right now we're gonna go. Love hard. Thank you.
R for real, hard.
Real. Thanks, Gary Lambert. You got R's all over your name.
Several.
Gary, several. Do you have a middle name?
Yes, after my maternal grandfather, Edwin. Edwin.
Gary Edwin Lambert. Gel. Got that?
Gel.
Gel. Peace out, Gel.
Night all.